So the FBI is investigating the Charlie Kirk shooting, which is already funny. Because the FBI investigating anything is like putting a toddler in charge of an air traffic control tower. The lights are blinking, the phones are ringing, and the kid is just drooling on a joystick. Here is what happened. 3,000 people at Utah Valley University. Kirk is on stage, giving one of his prove-me-wrong speeches, and then, bang, he gets shot in the neck. Now, officially, we are told it was one shooter, one bolt-action rifle, one bullet. Nice and tidy. The kind of story you tell in a children's book about law enforcement. One bad guy, one bad gun. Case closed. Sleep tight, kids. But the crowd swears they heard more. 2 shots. Maybe echoes. Maybe multiple shooters. But the FBI says no. Definitely one. Because if there were 2 shooters, they would have to actually do their job. And they do not want that. One shooter is the sweet spot. It means less paperwork and more time for lunch. Now Kirk takes a bullet to the neck. The kind of injury where you do not move the guy. Every EMT in America is screaming at their TVs, "Leave him still, brace the spine, call an ambulance." But there was no ambulance. None. 3,000 people at a major public event, and not one ambulance parked nearby. That is like having a NASCAR race without fire extinguishers. So instead, they drag Charlie off the field like a deer after hunting season. I am not kidding. They just scoop him up and stuff him into a dark SUV, not a stretcher, not medical transport. Almost. Like the body was loaded onto a government-issued Suburban. It looked less like trauma care and more like a mafia. Clean up. I swear to God, I am not making this up. It is in the damn record. 3,000 people in attendance. A small town's worth of bodies stuffed into a courtyard. And not a single EMT. Not one ambulance on site. You could have a hot dog cart explode at this event and there'd be no medical coverage. But sure, let's invite a controversial political speaker and pray to God nobody coughs. And then, magically, the organizers blow it. No ambulances. Not one. If you were planning an assassination, that's the dream scenario. That is jackpot. You get access to the body right away. No medics. No trained eyes. You can finish the job. Confirm the kill. You can even tamper with wounds. Maybe fish around for bullet fragments, like you're digging change out of a couch. So what did we all see? A guy with a gunshot wound to the neck, possibly with his vertebrae turned into gravel, being tossed and dragged by a crew of random goons. No badges, no uniforms, no clear medical credentials, just 4 or 5 dudes who looked like they were late for a barbecue. They picked him up like he was a rolled-up carpet they found in an alley. It was a grotesque circus act. He gets shot and then manhandled by the moron squad. Like, yeah, the bullet was bad, but the chiropractic adjustment from hell really sealed the deal. And who the hell were those guys? Do you know? Do I know? Does anyone know? Has anyone seen them since? They vanish. They carry Charlie to a black SUV and poof, gone. Were they doctors? Security guards? CIA interns? Were they just guys in the crowd who wanted to help? Nobody knows. Nobody asks. Nobody tells. All we know is they carried him like drunk movers carrying a couch up 3 flights of stairs and then stuffed him into a car like luggage. How many people were even in that SUV with Charlie? Was it 3? Or was it 7? Was it a clown car where 20 of them jumped in after tossing him in the back? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. And that is the scariest part. Now let's talk about the evidence, because this is where it gets hilarious. The next day, surprise, a rifle is found in the woods, wrapped in a towel, with DNA on it. A screwdriver is found on the rooftop, also with DNA on it. Palm prints, forearm impressions, footprints. It is like the shooter left behind a scrapbook of clues. This is not an investigation. This is Dora the Explorer. The rifle is over there. Do you see the screwdriver? Great job! The FBI basically just signed for the package. They didn't solve the crime. They tracked a FedEx delivery. And then there is the note. Oh, the note. The FBI says the shooter wrote a note, except they never recovered it. The note was destroyed, but somehow they know exactly what it said. How do you know what a note said if you never had the note? Did the note text you? Did the ghost of the note appear in a dream? This is not law enforcement. This is fan fiction. The FBI is just making up diary entries for the shooter, like they are trying to sell a Netflix series. And let us not forget the arrests. The FBI jumped the gun and arrested 2 random people first. Totally innocent. They cuffed them up just to show they were busy. Like a kid drawing scribbles and yelling, "Look, Mom, I'm working." They even tweeted, "We got him." 90 minutes later, they had to delete it. "Sorry, wrong guy. Wrong 2 guys. My bad." You cannot make this up. They turned the biggest case in the country into a bad sitcom episode. And then, the big finale. The FBI did not even catch the shooter. The shooter caught them. His own father recognized him in the photos and said, "That's my son." And the guy just turned himself in. He literally walked into the FBI and said, "Hey guys, I think you're looking for me." That is not a manhunt. That is customer service. The shooter basically delivered himself like a pizza. 1 suspect, extra guilty, no anchovies. So let's recap. A man is shot in front of 3,000 people. He's dragged into a black SUV instead of an ambulance. Evidence shows up pre-wrapped, in towels like a Christmas present. The FBI claims they know the contents of a note that never existed. They arrest 2 random people for fun. And then the actual shooter politely turns himself in because he knows these clowns will never find him. This is not an investigation. This is dinner theater. This is improv night at the Chuckle Hut. This is the FBI doing what they do best, waiting for somebody else to do their job. They should change their motto from fidelity bravery, integrity to "we'll get back to you" at their lunch. And the whole thing stinks. It stinks of a cover-up, or at least a cover-your-ass operation. Because the only thing scarier than one shooter on a roof is realizing that the people in charge of protecting us think an SUV counts as an ambulance, that ghost notes are acceptable evidence, and that suspects will just drop themselves off like Amazon returns.